Alright, so after installing the forward control kit, now we're going to cover reinstalling the primary. Where we're going to start is if your primary, your inner or your outer primary are dirty, clean those up first. Next, the one thing that you're going to want to do, search for debris that might have been in here. I'm sure you saw it in the other video. This is what that tensioner looked like. This should be encased in plastic. Make sure you clean up everything. There's nothing anywhere else that can damage anything else. We're going to want to put this gasket on. You can get a new one. I chose not to. Some people think the gaskets can only be used once. That isn't always the case. All right, so the next step, you're going to want to clean these up, make sure that they're free of any old Loctite or anything that was on them. The next thing you're going to want to do is clean these holes out for any Loctite that might have been in them. The case is what worries me about these. These are known to strip if they're not cleaned out. That is, if it takes extra time to clean out the holes in the cases, do it. Do it. You will save yourself headache later. All right, so I've cleaned up the inner primary. Now there is little dowels in the back of these, and one thing that you can do to make life easier is remove the starter. I chose not to. So now the inner primary is on, gasket's on, the good seal on the back there, and this is properly seated in here. Now the next step, putting Loctite on all these bolts. Be aware that they do have gaskets on the backside. I don't think they sell the gaskets separately. You may just have to buy a new bolt. Now all the holes for those, I ran the rethreader through them and I blew them out and washed them out with brake cleaner. These are going to be 1/2 inch. Now just get these hands snug. See how that little bit that it's sucked in there? That's why you want to do it by hand first. All right, I do not have the sequence for these. One thing you can do is work in a crisscross pattern. Kind of hard because they're spaced out weird, but for instance, I would go here, 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 and that's what I'm going to do. You set your torque wrench to 25 to 27 foot-pounds, and when you're torquing this, you want to make it one smooth pull. Now the inner primary is on. Now we can start reassembling the primary drive. Don't install the new chain tensioner yet. Those are on. Here's where this dumb specialty tool will come in. It's just a piece of steel. I'm going to be torquing this bolt to 150 foot-pounds in one smooth motion. Now we can move on to the clutch. For this nut, like I said, remember it is reverse thread, and it should be 60 to 80 foot-pounds roughly. Now, don't forget, you need to put your clutch rod back in here. Make sure that's seated nice. Next step is getting the new tensioner assembly on. Okay, the new tensioner for the 2007 Dyna. Okay, remember what the old one looked like? You can even see that it's bent right here. Now let's look at the new one. Very nice. So now you want to make sure that this stays in, or you're going to have a heck of a time. We got that one started. So these bolts here are 21 to 24 foot-pounds. Now we can cut this zip tie. That's what the zip tie does. It just holds this little arm on here. So once we cut this, then we can remove this little holder. Alright, now that tensioner will automatically tension. You don't want to put too much tension on it. You want to let it do it naturally. So we're just about ready to put the outer primary cover back on. One thing you do not want to forget is this. This is the sealing washer for here. This stops oil from flowing out this hole for the shifter shaft. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of RTV. These are generally a little bit tacky when you get them brand new, and they'll stick in place and then you can put it on, but this one has seen oil, just enough to get it to stick. To recap, just quickly, torqued, not set for the clutch. The starter is in, those are torqued. We got the gasket on, cleaned up. New tensioner is in. It's time to put the outer primary cover back on. Blue Loctite these and put them in. The torque spec that I do have memorized, it should be 110 to 120 inch-pounds. So starting off here at 1. All right, so outer primary is on. One thing, do not forget to put your plug back in if you took it out to drain it. That is muy importante. Now, one thing, a lot of guys will wrap this in tape. If it's that bad you're doing it wrong, you're either not seating it or something. You can do it, but generally you're probably doing it wrong. Now for her bike, we're going to use the Amsoil between primary fluid. Now that the primary is filled, we're going to use 7/32 here. I'm going to show you a little trick what a professional builder taught me. So you run the ball and ramp and the clutch all the way out till it's tight, and that ensures if the ball and ramp has anything in it or if it kind of naturally wants to fall, you're taking up any excessive slack in there. So then we're just going to loosen this back up. Okay, don't let it off too far. We're just going to go a half turn. Right there, we feel it engage. I'm going to go half turn back. You can either go half, 3/4, 1. It's up to you. I like my clutch tight and I want that engagement right away. So then what we're going to do is we're going to hold that, tighten this. So now we're holding our Allen socket so it doesn't move, and tightening that nut. Now that's tight. That's not going to come off there. Now we just need to make our adjustment here. We're going to run this all the way till it's tight. And then at the clutch lever, we want to see about a 1/16 to an 1/8 of free play. That's a bit much, so we're going to tighten it up. 1 flat. I usually grab this and make sure that a bit of stretch or extra is out of it. I'm tight there. Okay. Then we're going to tighten this up. Then we lock it down. We're good to go there. So we can put that cover back on, tighten this up, pull the rubber root back down, your clutch is adjusted. All right, guys, that's it for the primary reassembly. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If there's anything I missed, anything I got wrong, I'm not afraid to admit I'm wrong. Let me know. All right, guys, remember, a V Twinkie, we build it to ride.